was. Ah, yes, I remember you.
Yeah.
But hilariously enough,
Oh, you still
this
have
guy
passport?
is a familiar face. This is the gendarme that we met
I'm a
at
man
this
of leisure.
cafe
What
in the first
brings
game.
you back to Paris?
I actually lost connection there, so I think
My
you might have lost
girlfriend.
my connection there. Would that be correct?
What it is to be
It's very possible. I should repeat what I said.
You share what
This guy
you
that we're
know.
talking to here is in fact the
Listen,
gendarme from the
I'd
first
love
game
to,
that was
but I
here
need to keep a clear head.
drinking away
Oh, my company isn't good enough
to his
for
heart's
you.
content.
Yes, I do remember. He was having a few
Why did you
winesies
leave
on
the
the
police?
job.
I
He
forced to
was, and he
retire.
still is, except now he
Good
doesn't have a
infection.
job.
Only in my case, it was more copper than gold.
The wine or the job had to
We
go.
made a
One
scapegoat
of
to
them.
cover up the department's
and
ineffectiveness.
and he's there like just holding like a bottle of
Have you ever
Pernod
heard
Noir
of
going, oh, I
Professor
couldn't be mad at
Oubier?
you.
No, monsieur, I don't recall the name.
Apparently,
You're
he's
the
an
reason my
expert on
family doesn't speak to me
minority
anymore.
A little out of my field of experience, monsieur. If he'd been a serial killer or a sodomite, I might have been able to help.
Right.
Again, this game does come out with some phenomenal lines.
Hey, you. What? I'd like a cup of coffee if you don't mind.
When I finish serving this gentleman.
As you can see, French service staff are as delightful and pleasant as they are primed to be.
What do you make of this dart?
I remember a case where the victim was killed with just such a device. The poison acted in seconds, causing his body to swell
I'm
up
not
like
sure
an
if it's my
inflatable
recording, but
life
the
raft.
music just got really loud there.
It does, yeah, it does that every now and then. It's something that the original game does a good bit.
Okay.
Okay, just to keep you awake.
Thanks.
No, it's okay. No, it's actually something that like I didn't actually
That
like
guy keep
cop when I was
calling
playing
out
it
his flag.
because it sounded fine to me, but it seems like my own in-game recorder has
I thought that was
is a
highly
real
dangerous
fan of the
outlaw
soundtrack
crime.
and just wants to hear more of it.
Yeah,
Don't look at me. I
it's still
didn't
very
say it to
relaxing.
him.
So it wouldn't do a good job of keeping me awake.
No, that's true,
Do you know a
yeah.
guy called Andre
But
Labier?
again, the
Oui.
Broken Sword
I
did
know
use an
him.
actual proper orchestra
of
for
it?
its for a
I was
soundtrack.
supposed to
So
meet him here. Did I miss him?
You have to get them in.
I
Like
have
you
not
need
seen
to make
it.
sure. Like we paid money for this whole orchestra. Listen
Have
to
you heard of
them.
Professor Oubier?
I will
He
take
married
whatever
that
you have,
actress,
sir.
the little
Whatever
tattoo.
music you thought of in
They
the
used to
meantime,
come
we
here.
will take it.
The naughty
We are not
professor
fussy at
and
all.
the movie star.
Look at this. A poison dart.
Ah oui, sure.
He's so
It's the
dismissive.
real thing.
Yep.
Knocked my girlfriend out cold. in
Again,
an
what is
alley.
it about his job and his
Sounds like a
culture
real
that just
close
he
relationship
makes himself
you
so
have
fed
going.
up?
Do you know that man over there?
I should think so. He's a regular customer.
If Oubier's wife was a movie star, how come I never heard of her?
She was big in France. The world doesn't stop at Hollywood. Her stage name was Carol Climax. She died in
Dun, dun,
suspicious
dun.
circumstances.
Yeah. So apparently, Professor Oubier was married to a French porn star.
How did
Fantastic.
Oubier's wife die
I heard he shot her.
and got away with it?
Yeah, they good lawyer and they watertight alibi.
Incidentally, the little icon we have for Professor Oubier,
Why
we only
would
know that
any
because he looked at the
public
picture
figure
and
like
we just
you
assume that's him.
risk everything for murder.
He wouldn't be the first, would he? Besides, people like him always get off.
That's all.
As you can see, even this game has some cutting cultural commentary on.
Well, this is a surprise, Georgie.
As you see, a lot of the cast got new voice actors.
I wouldn't normally call you.
Compared to the first game, the only person
But Nico's in
retained
trouble,
from the
all
staff
right?
was
Deep trouble.
George's
You
voice
have to
actor,
help
which
me
is
find
of course
her.
Ralph Saxon.
What have you dragged her
Not
into
even
this
Nico.
time? It was
No,
you
Nico's
who
was
recommended
recast,
Professor Oubier as an expert
and I
on
do.
Mayan art.
In fact, Nico
Now
I
his
think gets
butler's
recast quite a
kidnapped
bit in the
her,
Broken
and he
Sword
tried to
series.
kill me.
You just can't seem to hold down a voice actor, which is quite strange.
My
I think
father was dying, Dad.
I think the voice
I
actor
had
for
no choice.
the third game is still the current one, but I have to check that to make
Drop it,
sure.
Andre. Right now, Nico's in danger, and we have to work together.
So, how can I help?
Because you think even in the director's cut, there's actually technically two voice actors for Nico.
You mean this stone?
Oh, for
Uh,
God's sake.
So like when in the director's cut version, she's voiced by Hazel Azerby
So
or
that's
Hazel
what all
Hazel
the trouble's
Ellerby,
about.
beg your pardon. who features a lot in
Nice.
Doctors and
The
in
girl told me to guard
Shore
it with
in
my life.
Torchwood.
Well, it's worth
Damn,
more
she
than
actually
that,
has
surely.
some stuff on her.
Very
It's
funny.
cool.
What's funny
Um,
is that your life
so
really
yeah, so
is on the
she's
line.
the voice of Nico
What
Collard
are
in
you
the
talking
director's
about?
cut, but that also
Stone
is
a Mayan artifact,
comparative to
dummy. And the
the
guy who kidnapped
to the
Nico
previous
was from
voice, to the
Central
original
America.
voice actor
It
back
was
in
the
the day.
stone they were
So
after.
again, depends on your
Oh my
who you
God.
ask.
You mean I could be in danger too?
Take a look at this, Andre.
It's a bank statement?
Yeah, Professor Oubier's account. 5 large cash withdrawals in the space of 3 days. All from an
I
automatic
like how
teller
they
in
keep
Marseille.
saying giving the full
Suspicious,
name
isn't it?
for
You're
the
even more
ATM there.
crazy than you were before.
Yes, I mean it was such a new crazy technology at the time.
What
You
do you
know, it's
suppose
just
the carving on the stone means?
I don't know. I haven't shown it to anyone.
Why don't you just give it to me?
I don't want your death on my
yeah. So
conscience.
in this
Sure.
game, Nico Collard is voiced by Jenny Hall,
Where did Nico get the stone?
It was
who's
sent
the
to
daughter
her.
of a famous
where?
actor.
Who?
And I think
I'm not
then when we
sure.
get to
I
the
should
third
tell you.
game,
Oh, you should.
It was
Sarah
something to
Crook
do
takes
with
over as Nico Collard,
smuggling.
Right.
and she's only in for the third game. Jesus, actually, there's another voice actor for number 4.
Give me a clue.
Fucking
It's
hell.
got more background.
You think you're amusing.
This is
don't
getting a
you?
bit ridiculous now.
So this is like the
Does
Defense
Oubier
Against the
employ
Dark
a
Arts
guy from
role in
Central
Harry
America?
Potter.
Maybe. I don't know.
Yeah, to a certain
Never
degree,
been to
yeah.
his house? I thought
Um,
you guys were pals.
Fellow academics, Georgie. It's not quite the same thing.
Why didn't Nico take the stone to Oubier?
I don't know. Perhaps she suspected something like this would happen.
If she's been hurt, Andre, I'll break every bone in your body.
No, that's typical of you. Do you think I don't care what happens to Nico?
It occurred to me that slugs don't have bones to break, but I kept that thought to myself. What can you tell me about this pot?
South or Central American, I'd say. I have a friend who'd be able to tell you more.
Where can I find this guy?
He owns a gallery on the left bank, the Gliese Gallery.
So you can see
Tell me
the
about
the
your
little
friend
the
Oubier.
small bit of camaraderie
He's more
that
of a
that
professional acquaintance
Andre
than
and
a
George
friend.
had from the first game is long
You
since
don't
gone.
really know him at all.
Yeah.
No, I don't.
I wouldn't say they were actually friends, but they are almost certainly definitely rivals for Nico. I mean, there's just something about a young French
Goodbye,
investigative
sure.
journalist that just sends these two alpha males into a frenzy, you know? Must be the legs. Anyway, meanwhile,
I've had enough of your games, Kala. Tell me what you've done with my stone.
I thought your business was simply smuggling cocaine, Karzak. Why are you so interested in that stone?
Either you tell me what I want to know, or Pablo here will make you talk.
Okay.
you know, we're part
Well,
to put some names on the
Someone
faces.
at the university would be able to help.
Pablo,
I had
the
a
most
word with one of my
stereotypical
girlfriends,
Latino name
and she
we
told
can
me
think of.
her boyfriend was a
Yes, but his
lecturer.
arms are folded, therefore you know he's
I
evil.
sent the phone to the Department of Ethnology. You know, I figured it was South American, so... You're not buying this, are you?
That's enough. I don't have time to listen to your mindless prattle. We'll leave you to think it over. Come the morning, you'll be
Dun,
ready.
dun, dun. So,
I was
this
sure
is
I'd asked
this
for
was a
that
particularly
coffee,
finicky
but
puzzle
he
back
brought
in the
me
day,
black.
and it takes some people quite a long time to cop it, which is why like the first bit of the game can be a little bit of a stumbling block. But
Right.
have you
The coffee was
noticed?
very
Have you
bitter
noticed what the
with
gendarme has
only
been doing
warm.
with his drink?
There was also an unpleasant coagulated lump at the bottom of the cup.
If I'm completely honest, no, I have not been watching them.
Okay, keep an eye on him next time he's drinking.
You need anything else?
There's something incubating in the bottom of my cup, Garçon.
He's drinking
You
it and then
asked
throwing
for
some
it.
of it over his shoulder.
That's the cream.
No, he's just wiping his mouth
It's
there.
all in
Alright.
one lump.
But look,
No problem. I'll bring you a fork.
Forget it.
That's all.
What did he do
Thank
there?
you.
Did he refill the glass?
he refilled his glass. Yeah.
That was undoubtedly the most disgusting cup of coffee I'd ever tasted.
So I think we've already asked him about what the flask is. Oh no, there it is. Now hang on. But yeah, he's been topping up his flask
Tell me
with
what you make of
with
this
his little
note.
tin flask
By
there.
years of experience,
okay.
I made the protocol
Yes.
inside the handwriting. say that note was written by a compulsive, obsessive type with an Oedipus complex.
Hey, you got just about everything apart from the ponytail. What do you make of this news cutting?
Orphanage supplied fast food chain?
No, it's the article above that.
Oh! Total eclipse of the sun. Oh, that's very dull in comparison. I don't know anything about it.
So this becomes a running trend in the Broken
I'm
Sword
trying
games
to
as well,
find
but
my
they always
girlfriend.
try. There is
She's been kidnapped.
at some level of cataclysm happening.
Yeah. Our first day back
In
together
amongst
after many months.
the events of the game. So there's like storms or emergencies or something along those lines. Whereas like in the first game, we obviously had the Templars and all these kind of weird assassinations happening of very prominent people and politicians.
The ex-gendarme
So
showed
in
no
this one,
effect
it is
from
we
the
have the
light
solar
pouring
eclipse,
down
which
the street.
we actually did have a big eclipse around this time. Actually, a couple of years afterwards. But of course, then this also ties in
What's
with
that
the
you're
conspiracy of the Mind Apocalypse.
Well, wait a second,
Yes,
it's
that was
absent.
like around the 2012 apocalypse, weren't they, the Mayans?
Ever heard of Carol Climax?
Yeah, exactly.
Star.
And the thing is, though,
Yes, I don't care
this
for the
was
kind
this
of
game was
movie
made in
she made.
1999,
It's smut like that
so it
that
actually
has caused the
like
Muslim
prophesized
decline of the
that
West.
little bit of panic in
Is
the
it true
meantime.
that Carol Climax was murdered by her husband?
First I heard of it. I thought
So
she
what
just
you've also
retired.
noticed there now is that because we kept talking to the
Do you miss
gendarme,
being a gendarme?
we've depressed him with our stories, so he's no longer
Yes,
looking
of
at
course
us.
I do. When I wore that uniform,
So there's two ways to basically depress him. One, we tell him that
Not
about Nico
anymore.
being kidnapped, and or
I had
two,
no
we
desire to
remind
go
him,
down to the
well, you
sewer.
used to be good, you used to have a job.
I grabbed the flask and was struck by a
Oh,
powerful
absinthe,
smell of absinthe,
nice.
a highly
Yeah,
potent
the
and
Green
illegal
Fairy,
alcoholic
baby.
drink. It was the flask of absinthe I'd borrowed from the gendarme.
So remarkably enough, that flask of absinthe prevents me from
Excuse me,
prevented me
but-
from proceeding the game all those years ago.
I'd been looking forward
Bro,
to seeing my
you would have been
girls,
there for
but she wanted
hours.
to rush off to see some
Yeah.
professor.
I see. And you think she's having an affair with its professor?
Now,
Look,
in fairness, in
don't
hindsight,
forget,
the game
it
does
doesn't
try and
matter.
give you at least a
you
little
try to
bit
appeal
of
against
a
your
leg
dismissal?
up by saying, "Oh, the guy is topping up his the
was no
like what's the
point.
guy drinking in his flask?"
My
He
word
says
against that of the chief
it's
inspector. And he was
like
a
he's
close
very much
friend of the
deflecting, saying it's
director of the
wine,
museum I
whereas
was
your man is
supposed to
saying, "Okay, it's
follow.
definitely absinthe. It's obvious."
Yeah.
And then obviously, if you just keep exhausting conversation anyway, he
Excuse
starts
me.
looking away.
Leave me alone.
And the flask then is actually accessible. So if you're hovering over the gendarme enough, the flask will become like accessible
Yeah,
anyway.
I
yeah.
had no desire. I had
And of
no-
course, it might
If
be
you tried to grab it
Now
while
I
he
had
was
another.
looking, it would
I
stop
could
you.
either go back to
exactly. So you even though you know at this stage,
This
okay, I can nick that flask.
The Glee's Gallery had style and class, but very few customers.
Style and class, but nobody likes it. That is modern art in a fucking nutshell.
Yep.
The
Just about
wasteland.
to, you just took the words out of my mouth.
Too minimalistic for too much money.
This is coming from the most artsy of the group, by the way.
Rectangles in a desolate landscape.
Unlike us
Highly
muggles,
cubist.
someone around here can actually fucking draw. For a
I couldn't
start.
believe it. The pots were
Only
marked
I
at
had hands.
5,000 francs.
If you had like the capability of having like a kind of
far as
an
I
exhibit,
can tell,
a
the
room
pots were
like this,
almost
Burkwell, what kind of
identical to what I
exhibits
found
would you
in
have?
Oubier's
Would you
house.
go the modern art case, or would you just like just do what we all
Looked
do
like
and
a
just have
witch
just
and a
like
headless butt.
pots?
I had seen better.
Oh, what a question.
Pots, pots, and more pots. All hugely expensive.
I really put you on the spot then. I realized, okay, she's actually clearly panicking here. Let's just say pots.
The girls were in a world of their own.
Because, yeah, you could then also use it as, and what's it called?
Hi,
The
girls.
anger place. The
Oh yeah, the yes, I know the anger rooms. Yeah,
There's that, it's smash rooms?
yes, there is a name.
Yeah. So it can double up.
Mm.
Okay, fine.
So George just got slagged up by two Japanese
Looked like a
tourists.
The girls were. He was a pear-shaped guy with a fine display of multiple chins.
Must be American.
He does certainly have the look of one, doesn't he?
Are you Mr. Glees, the owner?
Good God, no.
Then I guess That must be him over there, right?
Your powers of deductive reasoning.
Yeah, beside this bunch of burp up, but he's English. Yeah.
Have you heard of Professor Oubier?
Yes, of course.
I was at his house earlier.
If you're going to drop names, you could at least name one worth dropping.
I thought Oubier was a well-respected man.
Why, his last book was nothing but pseudo-intellectual claptrap. The demented ramblings of drug-dependent has-been.
What's that you're drinking?
I'm not sure, but I have a suspicion it might be urine.
I do write that line in fairness.
Criticism of his gallery when he serves this muck.
Pots, pots, and more pots, all hugely expensive. Spheres in a barren waste.
So you can see this particularly round man has some
profound.
very hot
I can
takes.
see a pattern emerging in this artist's work.
I wonder what his professionalism is.
He looked like an older version of Labano. The same supercilious expression, the same disdain in his eyes, and the same damn ponytail.
My God, it's Andre from the future. And oh God, he's wearing a turtleneck. Someone stop him.
Credit cards. It was a machine. I had no possible use for a credit card reader. It was a sturdy packing case.
Dirty packing case.
Excuse me, sir.
Uh-huh.
That area is private.
Oh, so I'm not allowed back here?
No, sir.
Oh, George, it really wouldn't be a game if you weren't just making a weird nuisance of yourself. Like, it is very funny, the fact that he is just a massive... He just keeps, like, nosing around the place as just a member of the public.
Yeah.
Like, he's not even, like, on the job here. Like, remember, this guy's a fucking, like, a patent lawyer by trade.
You're English?
Like, he's just doing this on his holiday.
Oneself as European.
Sure.
He's
Whatever you
remarkably
say.
calm,
precisely
knowing that,
anyone
like,
assist
Nico's
you, sir.
been stolen, or kidnapped.
Yep.
He's like, oh,
I'd like
this
your
again.
opinion on
Okay.
this pot.
Better get investigating, I bet.
Interesting.
I guess.
Would sir be interested in
I
selling
mean,
the
at
art?
least it's not him that's in the firing line this time, considering
That
that, like
depends.
a
How
couple
much
of,
would you
like,
give me
I
for
think
it?
it was a year or two
300?
in game,
Possible
and yeah,
25.
he got blown up by a clown.
Those other pots
So, you
are
know,
priced at 5,000.
He's had worse days.
Yes,
he's
but
had
this
better
is clearly
days.
the work of an inferior, degenerated culture.
You mean it's English?
Look, why don't you get a second opinion?
From who?
Mr. Lennon.
Again, considering that's written by
The
Charles
world-renowned
Cecil, who lives
art
in
critic
York,
and
I think that's a phenomenal
He's
fucking
an
line.
art critic? I thought there was a carnival in town.
Nothing better than a British man who is self-aware.
I found this news story referring to a total eclipse of the sun.
Really, sir? Well, fascinating.
Lane doesn't think much of your choice of wine.
Blasted nerve. The priest who sold it to me said it was a good year.
I have some questions I'd like to ask about
I'm
those
wondering,
pots.
is there
Mexican collection?
an
Certainly.
eclipse
Where
reference
did you
in
get
that
them
painting
from?
in the
Mexico,
back
of
there?
course. I think so.
I
we'll
mean,
find the
I
price
would say it's
extremely
possible,
Hey,
but then I'd also
I'm not
say that
interested
it's
in
just
buying them.
really
Oh, I
wanky modern
see.
art.
In that case, you'll excuse me.
The background artist crew are just like, modern.
Do you
The
get many
description
Central
says a scene
American
with
Indians
modern
in there?
art.
And no,
Let's
sir,
just do
this
some
is Paris. Central America
eclipse
is several
shapes
thousand
on Google
kilometers
Paint.
southwest of here.
Yeah.
With a rectangle,
Straight across the
and
Atlantic
we're
Ocean
done.
and
Yeah,
turn
cool.
left.
Again, this is the same group
Well,
that
as
like
it
got
happened,
like
I
bef-
saw
they
some
did
Central
like
American Indians
art
this
critics got
very morning.
confused by someone
Tourists,
leaving their
sir.
glasses on the floor and
Paris
thinking
is
it was
full of
cultural
them at this time of
commentary.
year.
You can get away with literally fucking anything as modern art.